Calling all builders. Welcome to Snowflake's 5-minute demo dare, where contestants race against the clock to demo the latest and greatest Snowflake products and features. Our judges will rate the demos based on 3 criteria. How ambitious is the demo? Is the demo useful and replicable? And finally, how engaging and interactive was the demo? Each category is worth 5 points, and demos can rack up to a total of 15 points for a perfect score. And now, your host, developer advocate Felipe Hoffa.
Welcome, everyone. Good morning. I'm so happy to be your host today. It's show number 2 of this series, the 5-minute demo there, where contestants have 5 minutes to give us an ambitious, useful, and entertaining demo. And our contestant today is a Snowflake product manager. Jason, are you there?
Hi, Felipe. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good morning, Jason. How are you feeling about today's demo?
Feeling good, feeling confident, a little anxious.
Yes, we have already a lot of people tuned in, including Jeff Holland, who was here last week for the first episode. He knows how intense a 5-minute demo can be, even if you have rehearsed it many, many times. This is live. Mistakes happen. We have no idea what is going to happen, but hopefully you did your part with the demo gods this morning.
Yes. Yeah, I did my daily prayer.
Exactly. By the way, I want to remind everyone watching here that we are reading your comments. We are totally live. Hello, Gage, Nick, Katie, Gage, Pankaj, Kiran, etc. Where are you, Jason, today?
I'm calling in from Marin County near San Francisco.
Marin County, close to the Snowflake offices in San Mateo, but not that close. And yes, let's talk about your demo today. I know the title is Snowpark Python Library Local Testing. What is this about?
Yeah, so the local testing framework allows people that are writing Snowpark stored procedures, UDFs, to test those methods locally. Because today, if you have a stored proc, a UDF, and you want to run a test case for that, then you need to connect to a Snowflake server and then make the whole request response. And it works, but with the local testing framework, you can do all of that testing locally, so things run a lot faster.
Cool. Yeah, people have been asking for that. Now, when you say you have a 5-minute demo, how much do you want to do in these 5 minutes?
So what I'm hoping to show today is, first, I've got a project set up here in VS Code. So it's got a stored procedure that reads from some tables in a Snowflake database, cleans that data, and then writes it to a new table. So there's some data frame transformers in there that do the data cleaning and the aggregation. And there's test cases for each of those. So we're going to walk through that, show everybody how a Snowpark project looks in VS Code. And then I'm going to update this project to use local testing. So we're going to update the test configuration, and then we're going to rerun the tests before and after adding that, so you can see how much faster it is running locally. Then, as a bonus, we're going to push those changes up to my GitHub repository, and then that's going to kick off a GitHub Actions workflow, so we can see how you can use that local testing framework in a CI pipeline too.
I see how you're raising the stakes. We need to get this into GitHub, push GitHub Actions, and show the full development cycle. Now, for people that love Snowflake but still have not tried the Snowpark Python libraries, what is the Snowpark Python libraries?
Yeah, so Snowpark Python, at the base, it's a Python package, so you can install it as you would any other package. And its core feature is the DataFrame class. So it provides a DataFrame abstraction and allows you, as we'll see, to do selects, filters, joins, all of your SQL operations, but written in native Python. So if you prefer Python, if you like to write code in Python, and you're a data engineer or a data scientist, anybody that works with data in Snowflake, you can use Python to query that data, and you can use your familiar Python tools like VS Code, PyTest, as we'll see, and it keeps you in that Python ecosystem, but you can still access your data very easily.
Instead of doing SQL, I'm able to do Python, and that's awesome. Now, we have, because this is a contest and we want to have a leaderboard, we have judges that are going to judge you. They are also going to listen to what our friends on social media are replying in real time to see how good your demo was. But let me introduce you to our 3 judges today. Where are my judges? Daniel Myers, Nick Aguilar, and Gilberto Hernandez. Good morning. How are you doing, Daniel?
I am doing fantastic. I am super excited to see this demo today, and you know, I hope it lives up to the challenge here today.
Yes. Gilberto, what are you looking for today? Gilberto, I cannot hear you. So let's go to Nick while you fix your microphone.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. How are you feeling today, Nick? What are
Pretty
you
good. Very
this demo?
excited. Excited to see this new demo because this is something I've been trying to get my hands on as well. So it'll be cool to see.
Oh, yes. We've been developing UDFs and stored procedures for a long time, but having the ability to test them locally and have a proper workflow, it's amazing. And Gilberto, can we go back to you?
Still mute.
And Gilberto is on mute. And Gilberto is still on mute. So we are going to skip him from now, and hopefully we'll have him back after the demo. And this shows you that this is real. Demos can go wrong in so many ways. Jason, are you ready to start the timer?
I think so. Let's get rolling.
Let's do it.
Alrighty, perfect. So we've got VS Code open right up here. So let's give a quick run through so people can see what we're working with. So I have a stored procedure handler right here. So you can see it takes in my Snowpark session object right here. And then, like I said, it does some quick data cleaning. So it's going to read from this database here, load in a table from that database, and then it's going to apply a few transformations here. So it's going to add a new column, create some fact tables for the bike usage. Here, by the way, we're looking at bike user stats. So I'm creating a fact table with all the monthly ride data, and then a fact table with all of the ride data broken down per bike. So once that information is created, it's just writing that data out to 2 tables and then returning all of the counts of the rows I created. So these methods right here, these 3 are all data frame transformations. So you can see over here, now we're looking at transformers.py. I've got data frame in, data frame out, data frame in, data frame out. They all follow the same pattern. And then down here, just a quick check, you can see we're adding a new column in there, grouping by month for that month table, and then doing the aggregations right there, the counts, the average trip duration, so on and so forth. So the key here is that I'm taking in a data frame and I'm returning a data frame. So if we pop over here, I've got some test files that read in an input data frame, the expected data frame, and then run my tests here. And I have one for each of these data frame transformations. And then I also have a test case for the whole stored procedure itself. So a bit of an integration test. So what we're going to do here is first run PyTest. And you can see here the test suite starts running. And you can see it's taking a little bit of time because for each of those data frame creations, it's going out to the server, it's connecting to Snowflake, returning that data back, and then comparing it to the expected result. So there's some back and forth communication there. So what I'm going to do is add a parameter to PyTest here called Snowflake session. That's set to default live. But then down here in the, right down here, I'm going to add just a few more lines of code. So that way, if my Snowflake session is set to local, then I'm just going to create a local testing session instead. So I can rerun PyTest and say Snowflake session and set that to local. So right there, you can see previously when I ran this with the live connection, it took about 7.5 seconds. And then here it took about 1/10 of a second because I have no internet connection. It's all running locally. So those data frames are created locally. I'm interacting with them locally, and I get to circumvent that whole network request and response. So speeds things up quite a bit. So now what we're going to do is pop over to a little GitHub app here. Let me zoom in a bit. So I'm just going to update this and push a commit back to my repository on GitHub. So while that's getting pushed to GitHub, I already have in GitHub Actions workflow set up in the project, and it's pretty simple. The meat of it is right down here. So the workflow checks out my GitHub repository to that CI pipeline, sets up Anaconda to install all of my dependencies, and then finally down here, it runs PyTest, and you can see here it says Snowflake session set to local. So that's been pushed up to GitHub. And if I come over to Actions, we can see here that commit for the 5-minute demo is running. And if you haven't seen GitHub Actions before, it's similar to other products and services like Jenkins. So here it's setting up the job, checking out my code. Right now it's setting up Anaconda and installing all of my dependencies. And then like we talked about, it's going to run my tests down here. And then all of the final cleanup actions happen after that. So perfect. And just like that, so setting up Conda completed. And then if we look into the run test output here, took about 1/10 of a second again, and looks like everything passed successfully. So that's how you can use the local testing framework. Very easy to set up. It was just a few lines of code on this conf-test.py, and then you can take your existing framework, existing PyTests, and get them running locally.
Excellent showcase. That's a proper workflow now to develop. I would love to have our judges' opinions, thoughts, questions, and if anyone has questions, feel free to drop them on the comments. Do we start with Gilberto to test his microphone?
You should be able to hear me now.
I can hear you now, yes.
I'm sorry about that, but yes, I love the demo for a couple of reasons. Testing framework for Snowpark has been requested for a while now, and you saw exactly how easy. I think you had 12 lines of code, how easy it was to use it. And in addition to having the testing framework, you showed us CI with this, which is also a big request. And so I love that you were able to hook it up so easily to Actions, include it, and have an entire cycle basically. So I love it. Thank you for the demo, Jason. Great job.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. How about Nick? What did you think?
Yeah, I loved it as well. Really, something I'm personally looking for doing it as well. And then I like the fact that that kind of stepped up the notch by adding that GitHub Actions. That's a nice touch at the end. I guess I have one. If I had one question, is there any limitations that maybe we should be aware of when we're planning to use these packages?
Yeah, a couple things to keep in mind. This feature is currently in public preview, so there's a few APIs on the DataFrame class and on the session class that we're still adding support for. And one of those, for example, is calling and registering UDFs, so you can look forward to support for that and a few other scenarios. But it's definitely an area that we're really interested in supporting from the Snowpark team, so you can expect to see more improvement and more coverage of the library with the local testing framework.
Yeah, awesome to hear. Now we can do development in the airplane.
Yeah.
How about Daniel? Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, so I loved the demo. It was great. I loved the fact that you were able to. I mean, you had the timing down. That was good. You got just a couple and fully done. So that was great. I love the fact that you were able to really loop in that full CI/CD pipeline mechanism with GitHub and showing kind of the end-to-end loop there. So usefulness, great. Your ability to keep the audience engaged also very good. And so yeah, overall, I great demo.
Yes, that was a great demo, useful. Now we want scores and we want our viewers to help us score. So the judges are going to deliberate to what's the final score that we're getting, Jason, because we want to build a leaderboard. We want to get more people participating in this. If you're a user, if you're a partner, if you have something to show, send us your video, and we hopefully will have a showcase and we'll have the finals at the Snowflake Summit in person. But while the judge deliver and you give us your feedback as users, let me see some questions here from our viewers. Sufiane Kelfawi just says that it was a great demo and claps, as Jeff Holland that's also watching. Shankar and other people are asking, can you share the GitHub link for this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll post over on the LinkedIn. Looks like this comment came from LinkedIn. So I'll post a link to this GitHub repository from the demo. We also have, of course, documentation for this feature. And now there's also a quick start that essentially walks through a lot of what I did in the demo today. So I can share those 3 links on the LinkedIn comments and the YouTube comments later.
Good, including a quick start for people that want to just run into testing this and with this quick start guide. Of course, Rita also wants to know if this will be saved to the page for viewing later. Yes, this is automatically saved and shared on YouTube and LinkedIn, where we also will add the links that Jason is promising to us. Now, Nilu wants to know, do you have documentation for the Snowpark tests?
Yeah. So we have reference documentation for the local testing framework itself. And then we also posted a user guide for testing in general with Snowpark. So it provides a lot of guidance for creating and setting up PyTest, some patterns. Like we saw in my demo, I used something called a PyTest fixture to create that session object that's passed to all of the tests. So if you're not familiar with PyTest, or if you don't have tests set up for your Snowpark projects at all, then the documentation links that I'll share after we wrap up today, you can go to those, and it really assumes you have no knowledge. So you can get set up from the bare basics.
Cool. And kudos to our documentation team. I love how much they care about having good documentation. And of course, our users can confirm it. And yes, Scott here has given us the link to the Snowflake DB Snowpark Python main tests. As is this a link, Jason?
So it looks like that's the tests for the Snowpark library itself, which can be a great place to see some patterns. You may, if you're more of a novice Python developer, that may be a little difficult to navigate because it is a very large project. We're talking about the Snowpark Python library itself. The documentation that I'll be pointing to later, it's more for an audience that's setting it up for the first time, that's just getting their projects and their tests set up. So feel free to browse through the link that Scott sent, but I'll be sharing some other links too that are for a more novice audience.
Yeah, I love how Scott here is showing that Snowflake itself is using these libraries for our purposes, which leads me to this big question from Sophia Badakhshan. That first, she says, great demo, Jason, but she also wants to know from a business perspective, why is this useful? Is it making it faster for you, easier as a developer? Why Snowflake itself is using these libraries?
Yeah, a few reasons. So like we talked about with the judges earlier, this feature has been requested quite a few times for a few key reasons. One is speed. So you can imagine as you adopt and use Snowpark more in your organization, you're going to have more tests. And with more tests, like we saw in the demo, those can take time to do the whole request response for each data frame you're creating, for each operation you're pushing to the Snowflake server. So this can allow you to test more frequently, say with every commit instead of with every release. You can test more frequently. And also, it can save your organization credits for those tests. since you'll be doing more of your compute locally, and you'll be able to catch errors before you go and push those tests onto Snowflake. So those are two key reasons why you'd want to use this feature for your organization from a business perspective.
Test more often and save money. Those are great features, great benefits. And Scott is helping us. He now has posted the link to the docs, docsnowflake.com, developer guide, Snowpark Python testing locally. So thank you, Scott.
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks a lot. And with that, let me welcome back the judges, because one of the judges is going to deliver your final score for today. Who wants to do us the honors? The first one to unmute. I want a judge to unmute once they have. Do we have the? Oh, they have delivered their scores, but there's someone still doing the math.
Exactly.
But yes, before we deliver your
load those scores into a data frame, and locally you can run the aggregations for each of those.
I love it. You can do it locally or on the cloud, depending if you're testing or running the production environment. So I have the final score today. Now we are looking, this is a really good score because we are looking for even better. Who is going to wow us more? Who's going to be more ambitious? Who is going to be more engaging? We are opening up the invitations. Do we have a judge that wants to deliver the final remarks?
Happy to help here. So
excellent.
Overall, a total of 35 points. That's very good. Ambition, 10. So of the three, the ambition was the lowest of the three, but still very good. Relevance, highly relevant. That was actually your number one highest ranked category is relevancy. This is a big element for demos across the board, and I think you really hit it home there. Engagement, 11. You are, I think, pretty naturally gifted in how you engage the audience and engage the judges here. So that was really good. And I think part of that engagement that you had is how you were able to really tee up the narrative of what you're showing throughout the demo. So I think you did a very good job of setting the context so that when the demo is shown, people know what's going on. So overall, very good. Total of 35 points.
Thank you, guys.
Well done. Well done. You are our leader right now, Jason, because you had the one successful demo, and I cannot wait to what people send us and share on future episodes. Any last words, Jason?
Thanks for setting this up. This was fun. I had no idea 5 minutes would pass so quickly. I think that's the fastest 5 minutes ever. This was fun.
Awesome.
Thanks.
This was a lot of fun, especially for us looking at you sweat. We want people to sweat, and that makes it very fun. And you deliver something so useful. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. Thanks to our judges. And yes, we are looking for your submission. If you have something cool to show with Snowflake, we want it. Please come. And with that, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you very soon.
Thank you.
Want to be featured on our show? Submit a video of you successfully completing a functioning demo within 5 minutes. Demos must be technical, original, and showcase existing Snowflake features.